Good morning.
You don't have to wear them
I don't have to wear it? Why not?
because we're on a Zoom call.
Oh, good point. Yeah, I would have to wear it if we were together in person, but I guess I don't have to wear it for the call, do I? Did you see what I had on my mask?
This
What are
St. Lucia is so tiny. We could barely
St. Lucia is so
find it.
Tiny?
We
That
could
is
barely
true.
find it.
It is
It
a
took
very
us so long to find it. I found it, but it's so tiny. I see it. I see it right there. I see it.
I see Pennsylvania,
Where the red
and
dot
I see
is.
Florida, and I see Cuba and Haiti and the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico and St. Lucia. Here it is, all the way down here in the Caribbean.
It's so tiny.
It is very small, and it's in an area called the Lower Antilles. This is the chain of islands down here. And I wore the mask with the fishes because guess what there are a lot of all around St. Lucia?
Fish. Fishies.
Exactly. And where is St. Lucia located? In the Caribbean, but what is the name of that area highlighted in red here? Looking closely. It's the
Tropics.
tropics. And yeah, it's in between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, which is this whole region of the world, right at the middle of the equator. So it's really, really hot the closer you get, and it's right in that hot zone. And what happens in tropical areas? What do countries down there typically look like?
No, yellow.
Yellow?
Green.
Yellow and green? Well, yeah, both of those things. They have lots of green because there's lots of sun and the plants like the sun, but it's really high temperature. And so this is the temperature all year round. Look at this. In December, when you all are sitting in snow or really, really cold temperatures down in St. Lucia, it's 80 degrees. In fact, it's in the 80s almost all year round. And the coldest it ever gets is just about 70 degrees. So how hot is it in Pennsylvania right now?
About 50 degrees.
50, so it never gets that cold, ever, in St. Lucia.
It's barely cold outside.
Exactly, yeah. And that's how hot it is down there and in a lot of the Caribbean. And this is what it looks like. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous.
Daddy went to St. Lucia for the honeymoon. Yes,
is that right?
Correct.
And did they tell you anything about the trip?
Did you want a boat to get there?
We took a plane.
Oh, so disappointing.
We did go on a
lame.
boat. Go snorkeling.
You
We
went
haven't
snorkeling?
told them much about our honeymoon, since they came around.
You went snorkeling?
Snorkeling.
You're
yes.
so lucky. Under the sea.
Under the sea.
Did you see a coral reef?
I don't believe I saw a coral reef. I did see a lot of great tropical fish.
Did you have?
Let's see here. I can tell you about.
Whoa. Look at that. They've got statues of people underneath the water here. That's wild.
Kind of creepy.
Did you see?
Wow,
that?
look at this coral. So pretty. Smooth
I
fish.
might have. It was a long time ago.
A long time ago. Cool.
Oh, look at
well,
that guy sticking his head out.
yeah, there's all kinds of fun little fishies, but they also have stuff above the water because it's so hot and warm. All kinds of plants grow, and they have waterfalls and rivers and volcanoes, all kinds of pretty stuff.
I want to go to St. Lucia too.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a beautiful place.
Dolphins, and snakes. Panama's
They
my
do have snakes. Gotta be careful with those. Look at this parrot. Look at what it's eating. It's eating a banana. Have you ever seen a parrot eat a banana?
No.
Me neither. But look at it. It's like eating with its hand. It's just like a human.
Can I see? Can you make it a little bit closer?
This one? I can't really. Oh, there we go. See him? What do you think this one's thinking? He's like posing for the camera. He's like, hey, get me on my right side. This is my good side.
I'm so beautiful.
That's what all the parrots think. But the most famous animal there is the iguana. In fact, it was thought that when the island was originally named, way back when, it was the land of iguanas because they have all kinds of crazy looking lizards there.
Whoa.
One
Wild.
looks like a frog.
Which one? This one down here in green?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, they only have its head, so it looks a little bit like a frog. You know, they're both reptiles or amphibians, so they have some similar looks. And they also have hummingbirds. So many hummingbirds. Do you know anyone who likes hummingbirds?
Mimi.
Oh yeah, Mimi loves hummingbirds. And that's,
Me.
you know, one of the reasons why she would have had a great time there, that she did have a great time there.
She did? She went there?
Pretty sure. Isn't that what inspired your honeymoon, Rachel?
I think we went first, actually.
Oh, really? Gotcha.
I don't remember if you guys went on a trip with mom and dad or if we went first.
I don't really remember either. In fact, maybe I was never even there. And you all went and I thought I was there.
I'm pretty sure we went first.
I think I was there. I'm like 90% sure.
Maybe someday.
I'm confused.
I'm confused too. We're all confused, but these folks aren't confused. They are St. Lucian, and they're having a good old time because they live in warm, beautiful weather, and they dance, and they wear cool colors, and all the good things. And they snorkel. And they speak English. They speak English and Creole, similar to Haiti. It's a different dialect of Creole, but they speak a Creole, and so those are their two languages. So if you go there, you can communicate with the locals. Would you want to do that? Yeah, Hayden does. What about Quinn? Maybe. You're a little bit more skeptical. What would you ask them,
I really
Hayden?
want to see the prettiness and the animals and stuff. But it's really hard to see the lizards because they blend in.
They do
Iguana.
blend in. Would you have any
Iguana.
questions for the people in St. Lucia? If we had someone from St. Lucia on the phone right now, what would you ask them?
What would you feel like if it snowed in St. Lucia?
Oh, that's a great question. That's a really good question. I wonder what they would say. What do you think they would say, Hayden?
Has it never snowed in there?
Never. It's never been colder than 70 degrees.
Oh, that's dreadful.
It has been snowing
I would like to go there
in
in the summer.
April for us.
No, I would like to go there in the winter.
In April.
Crazy.
In the winter for a
That's
break from
crazy.
A
school.
tiny bit.
Yeah, when it's like not snowing at all or something like maybe in the winter, like when I'm older, when I have my own house or something, even though that won't be for a really long time. When I'm older, I'm probably going to go to St. Lucia in the middle of winter.
Cool. That sounds like a good plan. A lot of people do that in cold climates because they get so tired of being cold all the time, and they say, let's fly to somewhere nice and warm so we can lay on the beach and eat bananas and just enjoy the sun. And you guys know that St. Lucia is not a big country, but how far do you think it is down this list of the 234 countries that we looked at? How far do you think we got to go?
Pretty far.
Pretty far is right. We can scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll until, here it is, number 189. Very small. It only has 180,000 people. So it's smaller than Iceland. It's like half the size of Iceland in terms of how many people. Really small island.
Wait, how many people or how big it is?
This is how many people. It's also very small in terms of size. So it's both small in people and size. But in the Caribbean, it's actually like a medium-sized island because there's a lot of islands. You've got big ones like Cuba and Haiti. Haiti's one of the biggest islands.
Wait, Haiti is the second biggest island?
Of the Caribbean, yeah. So in this area of the world, in this area of these islands, Haiti has a lot of people. See how big it is compared to St. Lucia? St. Lucia is this tiny little one, and Haiti is huge compared to it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What about the Dominican Republic?
Dominican Republic is also very big. So if we jump back to our list, you can see
really
they're about the same size. Haiti and the Dominican both have 11 million people, 10 or 11 million. So together, the island of Hispaniola, which they share, is the largest island in all of the Caribbean. See? Well, Cuba has more land, but Haiti and Dominican together have more people. Anyways, St. Lucia is further down this list. They're about in the middle. So Haiti has like 10 times as many people as St. Lucia. Actually, more than that, almost 100 times.
This is money. This is the money.
This is the money. That is correct. So this is our list of countries with the most money in the world. And St. Lucia is pretty far down there too, right? It's really, really small country. So it doesn't have a lot of money, but per person, they have quite a bit of money. So if we look at the list of, if you remember, this is how much money per person. Here's a map of kind of what it generally looks like, with green being countries with a lot of money per person here in North America and Europe and in Australia. And then the yellow is sort of medium, and the red is not very much money per person. And so Haiti, if you see here, is pretty red, and a lot of parts of Africa are red, and India and some of the countries neighboring India are red. But St. Lucia, if we were able to zoom in on it, which we can do by just looking for them here, they're number 63. So they're like all the way down the list in terms of size, but for how much money they have per person, they actually have more than Mexico and China and Argentina.
Whoa!
Yeah, right? How do you think they get that much money per person? What do you think they sell? What do you think they do?
Fish.
Fish is one way. Yeah, they do fishing. And here's some of their money. You can see what it looks like. Of course, it looks a little bit different than the US money. And here it is on a beach.
Wait, and because I know how they want it.
Pretty seashell.
I know how they did it, and I know how they speak English.
How do they speak English?
The English people went to there and teach them.
That's true. Yeah, the people from England and the United Kingdom, they went all the way down there. Then the people from France went there too. And that's why they speak a little bit of Creole. So Haiti, if you remember, they had people from France lived on the island for a while that taught them French. But Creole is kind of like a simplified or a broken French. It's derived from French. So they speak both English and some French, or Creole. And one of the reasons why they have so much money, in fact, the main reason they have so much money is because it's so beautiful. And there's so many things to do, like snorkeling. And so people come on these giant boats, these cruise ships, and they land in St. Lucia, and they go out and they enjoy the water and the sun, just like you said you'll do someday in December, right?
Yep. In the middle of winter.
There you go. So you could contribute to their money because they love when people come and visit. In fact, they have almost 1 million people come and visit every year, and they only have 200,000 people. So that means for every one person who lives there, 5 people come and visit. That's a lot of people. And this is one of the reasons why they come and visit. They have beautiful resorts and hotels. Hayden, would you like to hang out in any of these places? Or do they look so fun? Oh, you like them? They look good to you?
Yes.
What about here? A swing with this view of a mountain or volcano in the background? That's approvable?
Yeah.
Okay, acceptable? All right, well, yes.
Uncle Joe, soon when we do Around the World with Uncle Joe, very soon, Quinn is going to be at 9.
That's true.
In
That's
2
true.
weeks.
Is your birthday on one of our teaching days, Quinn?
Yes, I think so.
Maybe you should pick the country for that day.
Maybe you should.
2 weeks, and so it's gonna be there in 2 weeks, and I think 15 days.
Well, that sounds really fun, and I look forward to that day. And you know what we could do if we were in St. Lucia celebrating the birthday, maybe someday if we go to St. Lucia on your birthday, we can go out and play on this playground in the ocean. Have you ever seen a playground in the ocean?
No.
13 days.
Pretty cool,
No.
right? So they're inflatable playgrounds. They float, and you can go on them and jump, and you can go out in boats, and there's slides, and it all sits on top of the water. So if you fall off, you fall into the water.
So you slide down and into the water.
Yeah, you can. See, look. Let's
Can we
zoom
go there
in.
next week?
See what it looks like?
Can we go there?
I don't think you quite know what you're asking.
Yes, I
and
do.
I agree that it looks so
Everything is
so
amazing.
fun. Islands are wonderful and
Islands are
amazing.
beautiful.
Beautiful. And the people are friendly and the food is delicious and the music is nice.
Yes. So we're going.
Speaking of food, they have a lot of food, and that's what we're going to look at next. They have all kinds of fruits because what grows in warm places? Fruits and veggies. So here are
Food.
some of the different fruits. And what's that?
Watermelon.
Yep, they've got watermelons, and they've got lots of citrus fruits like grapefruits and limes and pomegranates and oranges. They've got chocolate. Have you ever seen what chocolate looks like as a fruit? This is what it looks like before it becomes a delicious chocolate bar. It sits inside of one of these, and then inside you crack open the fruit, and there's this little thing. It's like a little nest of cacao, and then you go into the cacao, you peel it out of there, and it looks like those little brown beans that it's sitting on top of. So it kind of looks like coffee, right? Before it's processed. And then they process it, and it looks like this powder, or they put it into sort of a stick, like chocolate. And that's how it ends up becoming chocolate, or chocolate milk, if you melt it. Isn't that crazy? It comes from a fruit, just like coffee. You remember what coffee looks like before it's coffee, right?
Yeah, that fruit looks disgusting.
It looks disgusting on the outside, but it's delicious on the inside, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think you like chocolate.
That's coffee fruit.
This is coffee fruit, yep. So I wanted to show you that too. Pretty wild. And they have coconuts. Do you guys like coconut? I think we talked about this already.
I like coconuts and the like water inside of
They
them.
would like serve coconut water
and like
inside
the
coconut.
coconut. Yeah, I like and how you can like make music and rockets out of them. I love them. Instead, I don't. The only thing I don't like about them is how the whiteness tastes. I've tried it.
Not everyone likes it. You know, the white tastes different depending on how old or how young the coconut is. Like if it's really green, the water tastes different and the inside white parts taste different. Whereas if it's brown, it again has a different flavor. And have you ever had candy coconut? It's altogether different. So there's lots of different ways to have coconut. Just don't walk under the coconut tree and try and taste it that way, because if you shake the tree and it falls on your head, you're gonna have a big bump.
Yeah.
I speak from personal experience. When I was in St. Lucia, I kept bumping into trees and they kept falling on my head.
Can we see a picture of that?
Of my head? No, I don't have any pictures.
A person getting hit by a coconut.
Do you think maybe that's why Uncle Drew is a little bit extra crazy? He's been hit one too many times in the head with coconuts.
Cuckoo. What do you think? Or have I had too many chocolate bars?
Yeah.
Or I had too many avocados, because I love avocados. Do you remember how big the avocados are from Tanzania? Do you remember that?
Yep.
Well, these ones aren't quite that big, but they're still pretty big. They make a lot of avocados down there. And not as many as Mexico. Mexico is like the master avocado country. They make so many avocados.
What do you guys think of avocados?
Fun.
Fun?
Fine.
Yummy.
Yummy. You just don't want to eat them when they're green like this, because then it's like really hard. It would be like biting into, I don't know what that's like, biting
something
into
hard.
a potato that's not cooked. You want to wait till they're brown like this, because then they're nice and delicious, and you can make them into guacamole, and you can put all kinds of yummy things. Did I tell you about the guacamole I had with crickets in it?
Please listen.
Did I tell you about that? I ate crickets one time. Crickets.
He might be telling the truth, actually.
I am telling the truth.
Some
Guacamole
people eat bugs.
with crickets in Mexico. That's where I ate it. It's something really common. Come on, search. See, look, they eat crickets inside their guacamole. Insects in their food. And
Mommy.
Yeah.
it looks gross, but they eat it the same way that people eat chicken or people eat other animals. It's just, it sounds gross to you.
So, are they dead bugs?
They're dead bugs. Yes, they're dead. Sometimes they're cooked. Most of the time they're cooked. And you put them in because it's good protein. Pretty gross. But also, okay. They also have mangoes. Mangoes are a lot yummier than crickets. Have you had mango? You like mango?
I think so.
I love mango. It's so delicious.
Whoa,
Katie
there's
is
a
there. I had
big
the
mango.
best mango.
That's a ginormous mango.
They like make
This one?
pieces of
Yeah,
art
it's
out of
cut
it.
open. Oh, wow, this one right here.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
That is a big mango.
I think mango's delicious.
The
Mango's
most
my favorite.
popular. You like mangoes, Rach?
Yes, it's my favorite flavor at Rita's Water Ice. I don't buy them a lot because they're kind of annoying to peel, but they are delicious.
I love Rita's water ice, and mango is definitely my favorite flavor. I approve. All right, so now is where the story starts to get interesting. I have a real story, and you guys are really going to like it, I think. So bananas are the most popular fruit to be grown and eaten in St. Lucia, and they ship them to people all over the world. They produce tons and tons of bananas. And when I was in St. Lucia, we were at a resort, and we had all-you-can-eat bananas. It was all-you-can-eat food, and I remember some guy walked up to me on the beach. And he wasn't from the resort. He was just one of the locals, but he wasn't a customer of the resort, so he didn't have access to the bananas. And he came to me and he said, "Hey man, would you be willing to go grab me some bananas from the buffet?" And I was kind of confused. I was by myself, and Mimi and Pops were away. They were somewhere else. I was just hanging out by myself, and I was kind of young. I was only 14 or 15 years old. And so I didn't know what to say. And I said, "Okay." And so I walked over to the buffet and I got this guy 6 bananas. And I come back and I give him the bananas, and he starts eating the bananas, and he ate all the bananas in 2 minutes, all 6 bananas. He was eating them in 2 bites. He would peel it open and he'd go bite, chomp, 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 bite, chomp, 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 and throw the peel and go to the next one. And he was really hungry. And he ate them the way you would eat pizza. I'm not even kidding. This is a real story. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. And then he started weaving this basket. He had a bunch of basket weaving materials, and this was his thing. And he was talking to me, and he was asking me questions about the U.S. and Pennsylvania, and we were having this whole conversation. But I was a little intimidated by him because he had a machete. Have you heard of a machete?
No. What is that?
A really big knife. It's kind of like this, and people use it for chopping sticks and for chopping wood and for cutting their fruits and all kinds of things. But I was kind of scared because it was a stranger and he was holding a machete, and I was in another country and I was by myself for the most part. And here's this guy eating tons and tons of bananas, holding a machete, weaving a basket, and asking me about my life. It was very strange.
Wow.
But you know what he told me? He carved a name into the basket, and the name was B-O-B. And he said, "Tell your parents my name's Bob Marley." Have you heard of Bob Marley?
No.
He's a famous singer from the Caribbean. And I knew he wasn't Bob Marley because he didn't have crazy, awesome hair like Bob does. But Bob Marley, maybe Rachel can play some music for you before the end of today's lesson. It's very relaxing, and it's super, super fun. But he tried to convince me he was Bob Marley, and I wasn't buying it. Then he left, and I had to go back to the buffet and get my own food. And this was some of the stuff they had. They have all kinds of plantains and meats and rices, very similar to the type of food that you would find in Haiti or the Dominican.
And no bugs.
And no bugs, no bugs. That's just in Mexico. They also eat a lot of seafood, as you can imagine, including lobster. Lobster is their delicacy there. Lobster and French fries. Does that sound good to you guys?
Yes.
I don't.
No, you don't like lobster?
No, I don't like seafood.
Just like your dad.
I love seafood.
I loved seafood too. I really, really liked eating it. I don't eat it anymore now that I'm a vegetarian, but I did enjoy it when I had it. That's for sure. And guess what sports they play?
Soccer.
Soccer, football, rugby. They like to run, so they do track, and they even play cricket. Have you guys heard of the game cricket? Different from the insect.
Yes.
You know cricket? Okay. It's kind of like baseball, except the bat looks funky. It's flat like that, and they wear a bunch of padding.
How do you play?
How do you play? It's very similar to baseball. I've never played. I've only watched videos of it. You could look up a video of people playing cricket, but it's quite interesting. It's very similar to baseball, but in some countries it's very popular.
Somebody in my kindergarten class plays cricket. She likes
Cool.
cricket.
I didn't know they had cricket in the U.S. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
they
last
do.
thing I was going to show you was something fun. They have hot springs. So hot springs, heated water, because they have volcanoes on the island. So anytime there's volcanoes, there's usually hot springs bubbling up from the heat. But they also have mud baths. Have you ever heard of mud baths?
No.
It's like hot, muddy water, and people go and hang out in the mud. And look what happens to their backs. They're covered in mud. Look at that. Tons and tons of mud. And it's supposed to be like stimulating for your skin. It's supposed to be really healthy. Lots of people will, here's a better picture. Lots of people will go into these kinds of things because it's healing and it's revitalizing for their skin. And so sometimes even in the US, people will go and put mud on their body or on their face when they go in for a spa. You can ask your mom about it.
Are they elephants? 'Cause that's how elephants clean off.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe they are. Maybe they're feeling inspired by elephants. Maybe that's where they got the idea. I don't know. You could ask your mom. Rachel, have you ever gotten a mud facial or anything like that?
I have not ever done that. No, I have
Okay.
played in the mud and been covered head to toe in mud.
Well, there you go. What, have you guys ever done that, Quinn and Hayden? Played in the mud?
Pretty muddy.
Yeah,
No.
It
Oh,
can
when
be
I was
fun
younger.
sometimes, right?
Does Uncle John?
You'd rather be in the hot springs like this, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
There. Well, that
I
is
like-
all I have to say about the beautiful country of St. Lucia. St. Lucia. It's not actually Lucia. Bob Marley. What do you guys think? Do you like it? Very relaxing. Casual beach music. I don't think you guys look too enthused. Not your kind of music, eh? You prefer the Irish gig from yesterday.
Yes. 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 Yes.
I'm
Yes.
not playing
Yes.
Irish
Yes.
jig.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
saying
Yes.
Well, so what do you guys think about St. Lucia? Obviously, you want to go visit. Is there anything you didn't like other than the mud?
Did you even hear this other part of this question?
Nope. Nope.
Was there anything
It's
you
my favorite
didn't like
country.
other than the mud? What
Nope.
about the cocoa? Was the cocoa the craziest thing you learned today? That it comes out of that weird looking fruit?
Yeah.
No.
I thought it came out of cocoa beans.
It does, but it starts in the fruit, and then the cocoa beans were inside that little white pit, and then there's the cocoa beans, and then they grind them up, and they say, "Be delicious, grounded cocoa bean," and the cocoa bean says, "I will be delicious in the shape of a bar, and I want to be eaten by Quinn and Hayden." And Quinn and Hayden say, "I will oblige your wish, Mr. Chocolate Bar, and I will consume you with my teeth and my tongue, and we will be happy once and for all together." Is that normally how you eat chocolate? You have a conversation with your chocolate bar like that?
No.
But you're going to do it now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, any other questions, or should we say bye?
No. Just stop recording so we can play the Irish jig thing.